So in today's show, we're going to talk about how we turn assessments into actionable scores. And I think nowadays it's all about gamification and scores, and everyone loves closing their Apple Fitness rings. And obviously, CrossFit has all the leaderboards and everything. Who doesn't love a bit of gamification? We've got some of that in our online community as well. People becoming legends and Jedi masters. But before we came up with the scores, we had all our assessments, and it was hard to sort of put across to the clients what you say, James. That's why we came up with a scoring system to help clients visualize what it all meant.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes back to, again, we talked about before, the times of me doing death by FMS to a lot of people back in the day, which, again, nothing against the FMS. And I keep saying this, I love them, I love Gray, I love all the work those guys do. But what you find is that some people just don't care about assessments. I think it's a high proportion of people too, of everyday people. Even some athletes don't really care about it at the highest levels from what we see. Now, there are people who are data geeks. They love that data stuff here. But I'd say it's less than 20%, right? I think it's 20%, maybe if you're lucky, and 80%. Use the 80-20 rule here. But yeah, we've got to find a way of making this stuff sexy, right? We need assessments to build the best plans to help our clients to the best of our ability. So we had to come up with a way to make this data meaningful to them and find a way to help them understand it, that they can apply it and want to work on it moving forward and understand it. And that was the thing to us. So we went, well, what can we do? How can we make this information possible? So again, when we started building our new assessment system in putting all into place, we had so many assessments, and it was just raw data on the sheet, wasn't it? It was just so many numbers, and we loved it, we got it. Clients didn't, they got lost in it. They got lost in the data. So as anything, what we know is that if you can't visualize data, you don't understand it. And if you can't get that across, this visualization idea, right, it's not meaningful for people. So that's what we try to do. So we essentially took our assessments and we broke them down into 4 quadrants. And then we gave them an overall score with a breakdown of each quadrant, didn't we? So essentially, when we assess people, we look at health, movement, strength, and cardio. And then we give them an overall strength matters score of what they scored in their entirety. So it could be 70%, whatever it is, but they'll see the breakdown of going, oh, do you know what? My health is only 40%. Strength is like 82%. Cardio is 51%, and movement is 60%. Whatever it is, I just made those numbers up. But the point is the overall number doesn't always tell the true story, and we want to break down each of these 4 quadrants. So when clients then see these 4 quadrants, they go, oh my God, I didn't realize my cardio sucked so bad. I need to work on that. Oh, my health is quite low. I didn't think about that. I need to work on my health more. So everyone loves scores. A percentage helps people know exactly where they sit, and it comes back to old school exams times. And we can plot these numbers and show these metrics and how they improve over time, and give them the data to show that too. And that's what we did for us, is like gamified it, made the data more fun with these assessments, because most clients don't care about assessments. How do you do an overhead squat with a stick above your head? Great. Why am I doing this? To help you squat better. Why? I don't know. That's kind of what the questions they ask us, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, as you say, who cares? If I sit here and tell a client that they've got 3.5 inches of ankle dorsiflexion, they're going to go, what? I don't care. What's that mean? But when you see it that's within our movement assessments, if they then see, oh, I only scored, as you say, 42% on my movement. Oh, that I need to improve that. Then it starts to make more sense. As you say, it's visualize it. That visual quality makes it so much easier for the clients to understand. And then when they come to redo the assessments, fingers crossed the program has worked, and they're going to see those numbers improve, and they can just see it straight there in front of them. It's like, wow, my health is better, my movement's better, my cardio score is improved, and as you say, they've got that gamification. It just makes so much more sense for them, and it makes them more likely to do the assessments and want to do the assessments as well, so they can see those improvements.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not always visual, your improvement and progress. Everyone talks about fitness and like losing weight, looking better, the before and after photos. But sometimes there's so many other improvements that you don't see, but these numbers can show an improvement. And at the end of it, say 3 months of training really hard, they could look at themselves in the mirror and go, I don't look any different. However, when we pull the metrics up and we go, hey, they've gone from 52% in their health to 74%. That's a massive difference. So their health quality is improved, their strength numbers can have improved. They just won't have thought about it or realized it in the same way. So it's a great tool for us as coaches to keep us accountable. Because guess what? If the scores go down at the end of the, say, 6 to 12 weeks, then we know we're doing something wrong, epically. However, at the same time, it shows them real data and feedback to prove that our system of coaching is working, and they like it. They like to see continual improvement. In fact, everyone wants to try and close their rings or get to 100% as best they possibly can, and they get frustrated if they can't, particularly the data geeks, right? Particularly the data geeks. Now, for people who don't like data, then we can show them, we can choose not to show them, but we still always have a record of it in doing it to show their progress, to give them the motivation they sometimes need to say, look, what you're doing is working. But I can't emphasize enough, how many times, Josh, have you done in the past, or I've done in the past, assessments and just written it down and not done anything with those assessments long term? It just sits in a bit of paper and it just nothing gets done with it.
Yeah, completely. Before we had developed our system of training, that's what I did with assessments mainly. I'd do, you over squat test and whatever else you want to mention. It's like, okay, well, what now? What do I do? As you say, it just sits there in a notebook and you don't do anything with it. Whereas this, it makes it easier from a trainer perspective as well. And I think the great thing from a client point of view is that they can look at their health, movement, strength and cardio, their individual quadrants, and can see those scores improving. But if they are a data geek, we can then take them behind the scenes into the assessments and talk even more specifically, which some clients absolutely love.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. So look, there's two layers to this scoring system. The one is on the surface, the health, movement, strength and cardio, and the overall score. Then we have what we call a traffic light system behind the scenes that helps us make better decisions in terms of program design. So it's all well and good seeing those numbers as a simplistic term, but we need to program from this. So if they're doing hip assessments, they're doing toe touch assessments, or whatever they're doing, or strength and cardio test, we need to know where they're at. Are they in what we call a simple traffic light system? Are they, red, amber, green? Right, obviously red is not very good. Amber is good to go, but could be better. Green is yes, let's go full throttle, pedal to the metal, etc., etc. So we want to really focus on this, but it helps us identify what are the priorities. And this is where we've over the years developed this. This is where the Excel spreadsheets come in essentially. So we take the data from TrueCoach, we put them in the Excel spreadsheets, and then we've ordered the list of priorities in terms of program design of where we need to work on first. I'll give an example. Our strength test, one of the most important strength tests we do in layer 2.2 of our system is the weighted carry test, right? The 90-second weighted carry test. It's a postural control test where we look at the stabilizing muscles. That's at the top of the chart. So if we know that if someone's a red on that, that's the first thing we're going to program. So it helps us make better decisions for program design, right? So there's more layers to this. It's not just the scoring system on the front side of things. It's the traffic light system to help us make better decisions for program design, to write better programs long term for the clients at speed, efficiently, and at scale too.
Yeah, as you say, it's so much more efficient when you look at the traffic light system. You see the red, you go, okay, well, that's what I've got to work on first. Obviously, because me and you have used this system and we've developed it over years and years and years, we can look at the raw data and we know without having to put it into Excel. But if we bring a new coach on board and we're teaching them the system, or if we teach someone to implement it into their business, traffic light system just makes things so much easier. And this is what we look at in the HCP. Do you want to add anything before we sign off?
No, I think that's about it, really. Just like literally, if you are doing assessments, not quite sure why you're doing assessments or how to get clients to buy into assessments, then create some kind of scoring system, gamify it a little bit, give them meaning behind it is my best advice to you guys. Or, download our system of training, go to strengthminds.com/system, download our system of athletic development guide, so you can learn more about our system and how we apply it, and then maybe even apply it to your business, because this is why we're doing it now. We've created the system for you guys to benefit from it too, so have some of that.
Absolutely. That's it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review and subscribe. And if you want to find out more about our hybrid coaching model and how we implement it at Strength Matters, go to strengthmatters.com/HCP.